passed out. I don't know. We're trying to find some life. A few males and females have been shot. Upon that, there's like 500 people.
The Night Stalker case stands as one of California's most haunting criminal investigations, marking a period of unprecedented terror during the mid-1980s. The story begins in 1984 in Rosemead, California, where the first documented attack occurred when a couple awoke to the sound of rattling windows, only to face a brutal and sudden assault that would set the pattern for a series of horrifying crimes. The perpetrator's methodology was particularly unsettling. Rather than forcing entry through doors, he preferred to slip in through open windows, moving with an eerie precision that suggested careful planning. His victim selection appeared completely random, targeting both affluent and working-class neighborhoods without any discernible pattern. This randomness became one of his most terrifying attributes. No one felt safe, regardless of their neighborhood or social status. Residents began double-checking their locks and securing windows, but these precautions often proved futile against the determined intruder. The investigation initially faced significant challenges. Law enforcement had little to work with beyond a vague description. A man in his 20s with dark, shaggy hair. The crime scenes yielded few clues, no fingerprints, and minimal physical evidence. The killer's ability to move undetected through communities, leaving virtually no trace, frustrated investigators and heightened public fear. Each new attack seemed to mock their efforts to capture him. A significant breakthrough came in 1985 through a survivor named Teresa. Her testimony revealed a disturbing aspect of the attacker's methodology. He would often leave behind cryptic symbols, messages, and drawings, seemingly taunting law enforcement. This psychological warfare added another layer of terror to his crimes, as he appeared to revel in the fear he created. The survivor's account provided crucial details about his behavior during attacks, helping investigators build a more complete profile of their suspect. The violence escalated over time, transforming from home invasions to brutal murders. The perpetrator would sometimes use weapons found in victims' homes, adding an intimate and disturbing element to his crimes. His unpredictability became his signature. There was no way to anticipate where or when he might strike next. The escalation in violence suggested a growing confidence and a disturbing evolution in his criminal behavior. The case finally broke open in 1985 when investigators discovered a crucial fingerprint at one of the crime scenes. This evidence led them to Richard Ramirez, a man with a history of drug abuse and petty theft. As investigators delved deeper into Ramirez's background, they uncovered disturbing details about his descent into violence and his fascination with Satanism. His criminal history, while significant, had never hinted at the level of violence he would eventually perpetrate. Many of the symbols left at crime scenes were connected to satanic imagery, and Ramirez himself would later embrace this association publicly. During his trial, he deliberately displayed a pentagram tattoo, seeming to take pride in his notorious reputation. This behavioral pattern suggested his crimes weren't just acts of violence, but expressions of a darker ideology. The courtroom became another stage for his disturbing persona, as he showed no remorse for his actions. The magnitude of Ramirez's crimes became clear during his trial. He was ultimately convicted of 13 murders, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries. The breadth of his crimes and the duration of his terror spree highlighted significant vulnerabilities in law enforcement's ability to track and apprehend such an unpredictable perpetrator. Each charge represented a life forever changed or ended by his actions. What makes the Night Stalker case particularly disturbing is how Ramirez managed to hide in plain sight. He moved through society as an ordinary person while carrying out extraordinary acts of violence. This dual existence, appearing normal while harbouring such darkness, speaks to the challenges law enforcement faces in identifying and apprehending dangerous criminals who blend seamlessly into everyday life. His ability to maintain this facade while committing such heinous crimes demonstrates the complexity of identifying potential threats within communities. The case fundamentally changed how California residents viewed their safety and security. Simple acts like leaving windows open on warm nights became unthinkable. The Night Stalker created a climate of fear that transformed normal routines into potential risks, showing how one person's actions could dramatically impact an entire region's sense of security. Communities began implementing new security measures, and neighbours became more vigilant about suspicious activities. The investigation's success ultimately came through a combination of forensic evidence, witness testimony, and public cooperation. The fingerprint evidence that led to Ramirez's identification demonstrated the importance of physical evidence in solving complex cases. The public's role in his capture was significant. Once his identity was known, community members helped identify and apprehend him, showing the power of collective action in the face of terror. This case serves as a stark reminder of how vulnerable communities can be to random acts of violence, and how traditional investigative methods may fall short when confronting criminals who don't follow predictable patterns. The eventual capture of Ramirez demonstrated that even the most elusive criminals can be caught, but the psychological impact of his reign of terror left an indelible mark on California's collective memory. His case continues to influence modern criminal investigations and security measures, serving as both a warning and a lesson in the importance of community vigilance and law enforcement cooperation.